Hey there, citizens. This is Jar Jar Jabroni from Open Comms Radio, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you to our listeners, wherever you're listening, and thank you to our callers for calling in. Maybe you're a listener and maybe you hear us and you go, oh man, I totally agree with what those guys are saying, or oh, I strongly disagree. Or maybe you're thinking, well, they didn't talk about the toilet gameplay I want to hear so much about. I got things to say about that. Great, you can call on in. Every week we meet Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you do want to call in, there'll be a link on whatever platform you're listening on. Just click that Discord link, join the Discord, and pop on into the call Wednesday nights. Second announcement today. Some of these episodes have been getting a little bit long. So from now on, if our episodes do hit the 2-hour mark like they did this week, fresh off the heels of CitizenCon Direct, it's going to be 2 episodes. I'm just going to cut it in half. So this episode won't have the normal outro, but in future episodes, I'll hope to put that in. Anyway, I've been Jar Jar Jabroni, and this is Open Comms Radio.
The thing is, though, now that you say that, I can't unsee it. You're absolutely right.
The reclaimer. Let's talk about that first, because I was going to go in a totally different direction.
You can make as much money as you need and work your way towards any ship in the game.
They were trying to cash in off of that nostalgia and that hype.
Whoa, you hear that voice? Hear that voice?
I hear your voice.
Oh, look at that. I thought I lost my voice. Couldn't find it. Didn't know where it went.
You had me worried, I'll be honest.
Yeah. You didn't react. I thought you were going to react when I told you I'd lost my voice.
I was away from my computer. I didn't see. I walked back like 20 minutes afterwards, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
You were cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, I was. Actually, I already had another co-host lined up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm just going to roll with that.
Yeah, you could have. You could have.
You know,
CitizenCon would have gone on without me.
It almost did.
It almost did. It almost did. We hosted the DC, Duke here and I, we hosted the DC CitizenCon, and it went well, but it almost didn't start.
It had its ups and downs, for sure.
Is that elevator humor? This isn't
very little.
All right, well, yeah. Go ahead. Yep. Well, this week we're gonna dive right in, and this week's question, Nix, or is it Nix?
Nix, or is it?
But what about engineering?
What about engineering?
Nix, but what about engineering? So, Duke, really quickly, we have a lot of guests, so we're just gonna get right to them. But you tell me.
What do I think? I think Nix is just some more content, and I would like engineering. That's
wow.
You don't want me to wax poetical about it, because we won't be able to get any of our guests.
Okay. All right, yeah, we got a lot of guests. We're gonna just dive into them.
Yeah.
First guest, someone you know, someone you love, someone who's co-hosted the show before and was with us in Washington, D.C., Cosmic Hobo.
Howdy.
Welcome, Hobo.
Hobo, Nix, what about engineering?
Nix. Engineering, yeah, all right. But Nix, like, come on. I was right. Rob and I were right.
Oh, I see what this is.
There we go.
It's our victory lap.
I attribute it to Jar Jar.
Yeah. Now I know why he was here so early.
Yeah, I wanted to point out how right I was.
You want your flowers.
Wanted to bask in his own glory.
Yep. That's my home run. Engineering, yeah, all right. Yes.
I mean, it can be mixed. You can,
I know.
Our question's a little leading. If it's not how you feel, then tell us how you feel.
I like engineering, and I think engineering itself is another one of those. We do need more like systems as far as game systems go. As much as I love Nix, as much as I'm looking forward to it, I agree. we do need stuff like engineering. Like one of the things I was really hoping to see was base building, of course, at CitizenCon. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
hear a lick about that.
Oh
No.
man.
But
Mm.
engineering at least that's going to be something I think we'll absolutely see first. And we obviously need it first because part of it is resource network. You need a resource network for the base building because the bases have,
Yeah,
resource
I've heard people say
networks.
this, and I'm like, why? Why do you need it? They don't really need it. They could put in base building where you just plop down a tent, right?
Yeah, I guess. But then it wouldn't really mean much. Because
Yeah.
it's gonna
What's the
tie
point?
into crafting. You need somewhere to do
Mm.
like large scale or medium scale crafting, because large scale is gonna be like space stations and
So
capital
when you say
ships.
resource system, what do you mean?
You have resources you need for the base, such as oxygen, power, water, uh, those sorts of things that you would
Mhm.
need to keep functioning for your base to be maintained.
So not for the construction, but for the continued use
Right.
of the base. Okay.
Construction's just a resource thing. Like
Hmm.
that's pretty straightforward. You need X amount of iron, X amount of titanium, X amount of copper. That if you've played probably any sort of a game, an open world game in the last like decade, that's pretty straightforward, I think. I
I've
don't
played Star Citizen.
well, I don't know if that counts.
So Hobo, them not mentioning engineering at all doesn't phase you. You
Not
think
so
it, you
much
you think it's gonna be here by end of year?
on a tech preview. We're gonna probably
Oh.
see a couple tech previews running at once this before the end of the year because we're gonna have crafting, and I reckon we're gonna have engineering.
Hmm.
We're gonna have so many versions of the game running at once. The main servers are gonna just suck.
I'm okay with that. It's kind of a return to form, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
New game features and 5 frames at a time struggling to fit through one door.
No, please no.
Nostalgia.
Yeah.
I'll put it
That's
away.
that's nostalgia.
I'll put it on the shelf if it goes back to 5 frames for
All
sure.
right, I'll scoot over. I said my piece. I'll scoot over.
All right. Our next guest, I think it was Lord Anubis. Was it Lord Anubis?
It was, yeah, Mr. Anubis.
We go in order of
Lord,
who got here. Lord Anubis.
title.
Nix. But what about engineering? Lord Anubis.
Well, I was always a proponent of engineering, but now that I've heard the logical argument from Cosmic, I have to take Cosmic's side that Nix is more important because Cosmic was right.
Oof.
Thank you.
And that I'm going to abandon my position and everything I know because of just that simple fact that he was right, that it
Yeah.
was happening. That's all.
Yeah.
The apotheosis of Cosmic Hobo.
Yeah,
Mm,
no,
feels good.
Nix, yeah, I don't really know if it matters too much, honestly. Because it's not a full-fledged system. It's 2 places. It's and it's like, okay, cool. They're adding a couple places, but it doesn't change anything other than, okay, well, when you're doing a cargo run, you're gonna have to jump through a wormhole. That's it. Like
Hmm.
it's not there's not any live resource, balancing or anything like that. It's still just the same old stuff with just a couple more locations.
It's a bigger sandbox with the same amount of sand.
Yeah.
They're just spreading it out.
Yeah. Engineering would bring a new play style. It would bring a new breath of life. But I mean, even medical, they think they've revamped that. It didn't make a single difference.
Mm-mm. Mm.
Like for all the flub they did and everything that they, with the med gel, it didn't do anything. So we need
There-
something besides just more locations.
Because really nothing changed. I mean, I bought some of that med gel, and then
It's a money sink.
I just put it in Kadoyle's locker, and that was it.
Hopefully it's
Yeah,
still there.
It probably is. He does a good job.
and it's not even a money sink because I haven't bought any. Like I
Mhm.
haven't needed to at all.
Yeah, that's a
And
good point. They're putting med beds everywhere you go now.
Yeah, right. There's every time they try to bring medical gameplay, quote unquote, bring it back, they instantly dilute it.
You need
it's
to
just
not get free Medjo back when you claim a ship. That's the problem. Your Medjo should run out.
Yeah.
but they won't do that, and that's the thing. They don't want to change the ease, and I get that, but I don't know. Yeah, Nick's it'll be interesting to look at, but that's it. I mean, you know,
I'm quite eager to go mining in Nyx
Yeah,
because
industry
they're gonna
folks are
have
gonna eat
yeah,
nice, eat
Mhm.
well.
yeah, they're gonna have missions, I think, for it.
Yeah.
So if they have that going on, and if you can, again, if you can like build rep, they didn't mention anything about that.
Yeah.
Rep.
And I think that
Interesting.
silence is telling. I think we'll have the same, mining on your own that we've got. And then I think from what we saw, the missions that they'll have for miners look like they're going to include P versus P, which,
PvP
for some
mining.
miners, yeah, like the rock cracking. They'll have that new mission where they crack the big rock at the facility, and then they said, and you crack that rock, and you might have some unfriendly people showing up and other players. So it was instantly like,
Mhm.
you'll do this cool mission, you can mine, but as soon as you start doing that, you're going to be getting attacked. So, and I enjoy P versus P, but I'm like, so you're going to force P versus P, and you're going to force combat on space stats.
I thought you meant PvP mining, like legitimately mining PvP
Well, the
gameplay.
mining lasers are pretty dangerous.
They could do
Yeah.
like a P versus P mining if they did like competitive contracts.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Contract goes out, if 10 different people grab the contract, it's like whoever completes it first, or whoever. Well, once they bring in the different qualities of minerals, they could be like whoever brings in the highest quality of corundum would win. That would be interesting.
Gets
I
the
just
strips.
I just want to see a mole roll up on another mole and just start mining its bags. Like, I'm taking it.
Extracting. All right. Well, we got more callers in the waiting room, so if you don't mind, scooch a little
do.
bit there.
Scooting down.
Well,
I
just a
didn't see
little
which
bit.
one came next, actually.
Well, we're just gonna go in order then with Echo. Echo 6. Welcome to Open Comms Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Our question this week, Nix, what about engineering?
Well, I really don't have an opinion on engineering yet. I never played it when it was in the tech demos, and so I'm just kind of waiting to see what it's actually going to be. So I'm actually more interested in Nix because, for me, engineering is just kind of a wait and see sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not sad that they didn't mention engineering.
Not
Or going
really.
to. Okay.
I can understand the argument that there's a lot of stuff that's dependent on engineering. I can kind of go either way on that. I mean, with the complexity that they want, I can definitely see that, but I don't think they necessarily would have to hold up other features for engineering. It might make it easier in the long run because then they don't have to go back and fix things, later on. But
we all know how much CIG likes to go back and fix things later, or
oh
not.
yeah, or
Like
not,
medical.
yeah, or the elevators.
I
Hey,
think
the
both those,
elevators
they've been good.
they've been good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they
Although,
were broke for a while.
yeah,
Yeah.
yesterday
Long
an
while.
elevator appeared in the middle of my hangar, and I had to go push the button, and I was like, "Where the elevator's not coming?" Walked around my hangar, found it like in the middle of my hangar, walked into it, pushed it to go back to lobby, and then it like reset it.
Wow, that's brave.
I actually just got thrown into the structure of a station earlier this week, just like the old days. So they haven't fixed everything.
That's comforting.
Right?
You feel like you're going to be comforted in Nyx here?
I'm looking forward to that. What do they call it? The tactical space battle thing that they're planning. That looks interesting.
Mm.
Makes the
Tactical
capital
groups.
ships more worthwhile and not just somebody running around with a single soloing and Idris.
Hmm. I
That
saw
looks
some
fun.
people commenting on the trench run and saying that it looked like it was just going to be too hard for most people.
We'll send Murph in there. He'll be fine.
Everybody, go if you find your friend who can actually fly. If you don't have one, go into Arena Commander, wait for someone to kick your butt, and then just say, "Hey."
I don't think it'll be too hard, but if you want to do you know, where you just hover in there to take stuff out, I don't think you're gonna have a lot of fun because you're gonna be taking distortion damage that whole time. So you are gonna have to do the whole strafing thing.
Oh yeah, you can't hang out in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember them talking about the distortion the whole time.
Put me on the dropship. Put me on one of the Idrises. I'll be happy there.
Yeah, I'm down for
send me
some
into the trench
FPS.
run.
Or drop ships.
Yeah, there's gonna be a dropship portion.
Will it actually drop, or have they implemented that in yet, or
It's gonna be just
Well, you're
like,
gonna land and run out.
yeah.
so it's not a drop? Everybody
Sure, it's
just
a
gets
drop
into
ship.
special seats and then just exits, calmly.
Don't they work though? Don't they work in like the Prowler and stuff? The drop
You're not
seats?
T-posing anymore when you're getting in them.
Or are you T-posing?
Yeah.
Because you just sit in the seat, and then when you get out, you just run straight out the door. It doesn't like drop you, but like that's how the ship works.
I mean, a drop ship is kind of useless without like parachutes and stuff, and I mean that's always kind of been the problem.
Well, it's a zero G
besides the
boarding
fact-
action because it's a space station.
I guess.
Oh,
See
I
that.
see. So it's you can't even call it a drop zone; it's a float zone,
It's a
Sure.
float zone.
swim zone. Okay.
Which wouldn't it be cool if we had some more land battles?
Yeah.
Right?
Theaters
Like
of
we get all
war.
these big space events. What about
Mhm.
a land battle?
None of that was mentioned. It was just it was mostly just Nyx and a few missions coming up in Nyx. It felt like a long, big old what do you call them?
ISC.
ISC
Inside Star City.
Just felt like a long 2-hour one. I saw like a Reddit comment. Someone said it's just going to be like a long ISC. They were right.
And that's exactly what it was, and it did not feel like the event that it, that I don't know. Something is disturbing about the fact that it didn't feel like an actual event. It just felt like, something you would have seen just casually dropped on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say it definitely had less fanfare than it
But
has
isn't
in the
that
past.
responsible?
Responsible?
I've seen that commentary and I'm just like throwing up in my mouth.
All right. Echo, do you have anything to add to this before we bring up our next guy?
No, I don't have anything to add.
All right, Echo, you can scoot on over there. We're gonna bring Shveet on up. Shveet, long time no see. Welcome to Open Comms Radio. Duke, what's our question, Dookie?
Our question tonight, Nyx, what about engineering?
Well, this is going to be an interesting take as someone who hasn't seen the Citizen Direct.
What?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I was out touching grass, believe it or not.
Oh boy.
That's
What?
hearsay.
You beast.
Does that?
I
Right?
know, right? It's
Wash
wild.
your hands.
So
Wash your hands.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's
even know
dirty.
what
It's
Nyx
dirt
is.
out
I
there.
just know Levski exists. So that's gonna be a yeah, let's go. But beyond that, engineering wise, I'm just kind of waiting here for us to be able to have the opportunity to do engineering because it's extremely important. Because for all the other MMORPGs I've ever played, the end game, you have crafters and gatherers always nonstop doing something, which then leads to a collectible sorry,
Did you say
battle.
Collecticles.
Collecticles.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Collectibles. My apologies. Of hey, let's get the rare thing, the thing that only you can get by doing this thing caused by engineering. What I'm trying to get at is, where is fishing, Chris? Where is my fishing end game? I need to craft and engineer myself a boat and a fishing rod. I don't care if it's space whales or not. I will be waiting to
Plus
engineer
3 years
myself.
to development of the game.
Plus 3 years. So
Oh,
that is my take on engineering, where it's certainly important, but what do you mean by engineering though? Like engineering of a ship, like, oh, systems go down, got to repair it, or
yeah.
engineering is
Well, that's
something
what it is.
else?
Like, there's a fire. You gotta put the fire out. You gotta like
That's why we have
reroute.
those fire
all-
extinguishers.
Ah,
It's
You
the thing that
gotta,
was in tech preview at the beginning of this year and then disappeared.
so
repair the
the
warp core, fix the plasma leaks, put out the fires, fix the ship so you can get it back running after it's been soft death.
understandable. So my opinion on that matter is basically it would be nice to have certainly, which would bring back my initial feelings from Pyro CitizenCon a few years back, where the solar flares were a thing.
Mhm.
You're flying, you're minding your own business, and then, oh hey, look, let's check out the settlement, and then solar flare. You're just sidewind. You're gonna eat dirt one way or another.
That would have been cool.
Might as well attempt to fix it if you possibly can. And if they did ever bring back the flares from that, I could see a whole slew of a mess of people saying, "Hey, what's this?" or people just abandoning pyro. But it's kind of a balance between having environmental stuff going on. You enter a planet's surface that's extremely acidic, and suddenly your ship doesn't have a hull, versus interior fires, which would be cool, but I feel like in the moment for most people it could be overwhelming. Where you're in a fire fighting, let's say in Asgard, and the hold is on fire, and you have one guy with a fire extinguisher, and he's getting bumbled around as you're trying to dodge a pirate, God only knows where. It's there's something that needs to have a balance, and we won't know until it's implemented the first time around. Just to, like, the first implementation will be rough. People will be up in arms most likely, but
Always is.
it's and always is, but it's a necessary thing that needs to happen. Whether that is before Nix, during Nix, or it's going to happen one way or another. We know it. The devs know it.
So what I'm hearing from you is you want physicalized wrenches.
Look, I use an
I-
axe as a cane after dislocating my knee, so yes.
I think what he said was, Nix, engineering, where are my solar flares? I think was the-
And where's his fishing rod?
I
And where's the-
will
Yeah.
say the only problem with solar flares is they make no sense. Because
well, let's not try to get logic into this.
Yeah,
don't
let's
get no
not.
of that
This is
logic
Star
in here.
Citizen. We
Is
have
how
chess
are-
sets in this game.
I mean, how are they flaring that fast? And then why is your ship that's capable of flying right next to the surface of a sun not shielded for the same radiation that it's going to encounter every single day?
Disruption
Who
damage.
said you could fly near the surface of the sun?
Also, don't fly into suns. That's a bad idea.
Right?
I
Bad
mean,
idea.
Sometimes we don't have a choice. We just spawn there.
That's true.
yeah,
And it
that
hits
is
you
true.
physically like a wave, you know?
What was their excuse for
pushes
getting rid of
you.
the flares? Wasn't it that supposedly they couldn't get the NPCs to be affected by it?
I actually
Ye-
don't know.
You mean the ones who run around in space naked?
I beg your pardon.
They do that.
The naked NPCs that just walk around going, "Hey, I'm an NPC," like just with I'm just gonna run around in
He's got
space.
the biker jackets and
Yeah.
the gimp mask and just running around on the
Haven't
surface
seen them.
of a
Which,
Yeah.
by the way, You know we're all never nudes, right?
Yeah. And
Okay.
there's
Did you
dozens
know?
of us.
Did
Well,
you, did you know
it-
there's a skeleton inside you?
if you go to an OLP anytime, Duke, it's been one of those trends lately where people will just knock out soldiers, take all their stuff off, and then you go there and there's a whole bunch of people in underwear running around in space
Where is this?
Bunkers
on
too. Like,
OLPs.
All right, you text me an address after the show.
Detritus, Daymar.
Get my Polaroids.
All right, we're gonna make room here for our next guest,
Shifting.
may or may
With
not
the-
have also watched CitizenCon. It is Wicket. Wicket, welcome to Open Comms Radio.
Citizens, long time
Wicket.
Wicket.
occasional caller.
Wicket. Nix.
Wicket.
What about engineering?
All right. Well, cool as Nick's looked and the visuals they shared in the CitizenCon, it looked very impressive. Looked, someplace you want to check out. But I think when it's released, it's going to be limited of what we'll be able to do there. Hopefully not. Maybe I'm mistaken, but they'll release it and say, okay, we pushed it out, guys. But at the end of the day, I think engineering is way more important than Nick's because engineering will be able to happen anywhere. Nick's, Pyro, Stanton, Terra, wherever. Engineering is going to be a fundamental game-changing gameplay mechanic that we're all going to have to interact with, and I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but it's probably way more important to have engineering than it is to have Nix. I understand why they're doing Nix because that's a new beautiful place to play, and it satisfies a lot of people's wants and desires, but I think they missed the ball with prioritizing that over engineering. I think that engineering will eventually have way bigger impact on everything that we do, when and if we actually play the game anymore.
Do you think they're prioritizing it, or do you think it's just like a different team working on it?
Well, I think it was telling that they didn't really talk about it in the CitizenCon, right? And
Yeah.
I was like very surprised when they announced it's only going to be 2 hours. Now that I had experienced CitizenCon, I understand why they only had 2 hours. Why it was only 2 hours. They didn't have much to talk about. Obviously, in prior Citizens Cons, it was either a day or the last one was 2 days, and there was tons to talk about and discuss and hype up and overpromise and never deliver. But that's the nature of it.
I'm gonna say it again. It was responsible. This was a good decision.
it was the most rational CitizenCon we've ever had.
Yeah.
Listen,
And
I don't
know why people don't
I
like
don't
this.
get on several planes to be spoken to rationally. Okay? I get on the plane so that
That's
Chris
fair.
and his team of little hype beasts can whisper little dreams of tech demos into my
Hey,
ears.
you
Okay.
you got on the planes to see us. Like, just frame it that
No.
way. No,
No,
okay.
No.
it's
All right.
no. I
Your
wanted
fellow
Chris to pickle
nomads
my pickle,
aren't as good
basically.
as the
Is what I'm saying.
as,
No, I
as
did.
Drew
I did get on.
Roberts
I
is.
did get on the plane to see you, but I was, CitizenCon. From an outsider's perspective, or from a business perspective, like it's supposed to be the fundraising event, right?
Yeah.
And I came away from that, and I'm like, whew, I don't know what kind of numbers they're going to get from that. I mean, not that they needed it this year, right? They're already ahead of every other year.
Right.
But I certainly didn't hear a lot of people saying, I got to bust out my wallet to get this ship or that one, or
Mhm.
I got to spend $40 on a land claim.
Well, hold your horses there. But
Nor did we hear anything new.
Right. None of it was new.
Well,
And so wait, here's
we got a little new.
my thing is I'm just
What?
hopeful, right, that we didn't hear anything really new. I didn't see anything really new because they are just head down working on Squadron, and they're going to do a really good job. And then once that's done next year, fingers crossed, the floodgates will open, and we'll start to see all these features that we so desperately want to see.
Which is what we thought when they said it was feature complete. And when we said, "Oh my gosh, they're going to put everyone over on Star Citizen now,"
Yeah,
I feel like
and here we are
they're
3
not.
years
Clearly,
later.
clearly they're not done. Right? They're not ready, and
I feel
they
like
are putting some people. Right? They're putting the content people, because the guys who make the locations in Squadron, the guys who make like, what the ships look like and what the aliens look like, they're all done. It's just
Yeah.
the programmers who are still working on it, and those are the ones we need in Star Citizen.
I can see that.
I could see that, but I mean, the problem is you have Nix with only 2 locations, and frankly, I think they were only made to generate like videos for what they will be promising in the future, and they never actually like worked on it ever since then. Because like we've seen those things ever since they announced there was going to be new systems. We saw those 2 locations. There's nothing else besides that,
Yeah,
which is frustrating. So it's like they never actually got back to it.
true. Yeah, so they showed us this Nix last year.
We didn't
Yes.
They
see
didn't show
Nix
it.
3
Yeah,
last year. We didn't see this much.
We
We
yeah,
didn't
barely
but
see
seen
Nix
we're
Trevor
Rebels
last
also
year.
not going to see the Nix planets this year.
Well, okay, that's fair, yeah.
And Levski was already a place.
It
Mhm.
was a
Yeah,
shadow
but
of what it is now, or well, it's going to be.
I sort of preferred the old Nix. I like the planetoid look.
Yeah.
I feel like touching grass was definitely the option here.
You shut up.
You could have touched grass with
Yeah.
us. You could have come down here and touched grass. Well, we didn't
You
actually.
keep your
This
plant
civilized
worship
grass?
out of here.
Look, it was
Listen.
Canadian Thanksgiving.
No, mostly people touched alcohol.
Oh,
I
it was
mean-
really Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yes, it was actually Canadian
Oh, that's right,
Thanksgiving.
yeah.
Hey,
this past
happy
weekend, so.
Canada Thanksgiving, eh?
Yeah, happy
Yay.
Thanksgiving, eh?
Hey,
Sorry.
Eh?
who wrote
Sorry.
that?
All
Hey,
right, we got another guest we're gonna pull on up here.
All right, Scoot.
Well, hold
It's
on.
getting full.
It is. We're getting big on the couch, but we need to make room for a commercial break. So
Is that what we're calling it?
yeah, well, our sponsor's commercial
word from our
break.
sponsor.
Hang on tight right here, and we'll be back after a word from our sponsors. Cruz Lux won me the race, got me the girl. Cruz Lux gave me hepatitis C. Cruz Lux. All right, we're back. We're back at Open Comms Radio.
who the hell wrote that?
20% slam by volume.
Yeah, you need to always include that disclaimer.
Oh,
Like, you
well,
just-
I thought, well,
You didn't
Anubis
tell
is
people
here.
where to buy it. Like,
You know, can I
You
tell you
know,
something? I opened
have a
this
hell of a time
podcast.
finding
I
it.
didn't tell people my name. I didn't say,
no.
"Hey, you're here."
Well, it's copyrighted, so
I never forget these. I never remember.
Well, you only just found your voice right before we started, so
Yeah, I had a lot going on today.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of someone we have found, he is a vegetable. He is a man. He's Broccoli Rob.
How's it going, y'all?
How's it
It's a good
going,
intro.
Broccoli? Broccoli, Nix. What about engineering?
Nix, it happened. Feel pretty good. Feel pretty
You
good
get your
seeing that.
tattoo?
I did.
Do you feel
I already got
comfortable
it,
letting
though.
people know about it?
Yeah,
Publicly?
sure. It was a cover up. I got Freelancer tattooed on me, and I also got the moon broken up into 7 pieces because it's from a book that I like.
There you go.
I'm a
He
big
has a Star
sucker
Citizen
on my
tattoo.
arm.
Big old Freelancer, right smack dab. All weekend, Broccoli Rob was like, if they show Nix, I'm going to get a Star Citizen tattoo. And then they showed Nix, and he rolls up his sleeve, and he goes, look! And I go, what?
It's not
That's great.
small either. It's big. It's good.
Yeah.
What are you going to do when they eventually update the Freelancer and change the way it looks?
Just get that covered up too. This is a cover up, so I'll just keep covering it up.
Just keep layering it on there.
Well, what are you
That's
gonna
right.
do when you're in the old folks' home and the nurse is like bathing you, and they go, "Oh wow, look, a Freelancer," and you go, "Oh, you play Star Citizen?" Like, yeah, I hope it comes out soon because
Fantasy.
Is the nurse pretty?
Yeah,
The
you gotta
nurse in
fuck
the
that
nursing
nurse.
home is going to say, "No, I don't play Star Citizen. I'm still waiting for it to be released."
Dude, we are going to be the coolest generation of old people in the home ever.
who's
Oh,
the
hell
most
yeah.
annoying?
That too.
Are you kidding? Like, I
Nurse,
used to
my
work.
HDMI cable's loose.
Yeah, I used to work
But
in equipment, and the last thing we need is move beds in and out while there's like a whole bunch of pops and like just memorabilia just everywhere strewn about.
what I was gonna
Clean your
say
room,
is
Anubis.
Nick's exciting,
Yeah,
right?
Mhm.
hot dog.
I think I like the whole rolling out of it, kind of like how we saw Stanton, because there are things that we would like to see, and there are things that they're going to do. And instead of waiting possibly another year for Knicks, I'd much rather them roll it out now and just kind of keep drip feeding us content over the
Mhm.
year. That's how Stanton rolled out originally. It was Crusader and then ArcCorp next, and then Hurston, if I remember
been
right, or
so
was it the other way
long.
around?
I think it was ArtCorp. No, Hurston, ArtCorp, and then Crusader.
New Microtech and then Crusader.
Correct, Microtech.
What if they do
It-
this forever? Like, what
I
if
wouldn't
this
hate
is
it.
the future? No.
Well, they will
why,
be.
why not just keep on rolling out, slowly rolling things out and just kind of giving them to us until 1.0. 1.0 happens, we have a complete game. They have, in theory, all the tech they need to be rolling out more stuff. So then I think they can slow down.
The only thing I could say to that is that they're releasing patches like regularly, and that's wonderful. But they are also erasing things in between regularly, and it's getting a little frustrating because it's like, okay,
That's alpha,
well,
baby.
yeah, I know it's alpha, but again, it's a living game that they're still charging people for, and it's a small thing they can do to just fix that. And that's kind of the problem, is that they're not fixing those basic things. And if they're going to accelerate the schedule like this, it's a quality of life issue. And I get it's an alpha, but when it's an alpha for another 4 years, it's a small thing they can do.
It's gotten better over the year, and I think that it's a small price to pay for a temporary problem that we have. I think instead of taking time to like fix something that won't be a problem for the final game, they should instead be like, okay, sometimes you have to redecorate your hangar. You know, like it's not the worst thing in the world, but they're getting better with long-term persistence. And honestly, the more that they break it, the easier they'll find the problems to fix it.
But I mean, people losing ships, people have lost even Wicklow, Polarises, and not got them back.
Yeah,
And they're
and
and it's a regular occurrence. And
it's
that's the
gotten
Yeah.
problem.
better. It's gotten better over the months, and sorry, but it's alpha, and I'm sure they're looking into it, and I'm sure they're going to try to fix it, but avoiding it is not fixing it.
Yeah, but they're not. I mean, at the same time, they're not going to fix it anytime soon, and that's kind of the problem, is that they're not releasing the patches to fix these things, even though it's a major concern.
Well, they have a
Um,
whole thread to like report like, hey, let me know when a ship goes missing. Like
yes,
they're actively asking people to be like, hey, help us fix this. And so that when they roll out a new patch, it's hopefully a little bit closer to being fixed than it was last time.
I like
Well,
the optimism.
I
Hey, I mean, what
You
what
gotta
else
be
can what else
optimistic.
can you
Yeah.
have,
No, I agree.
Like we
Deep
can like
cynicism.
sit around and be like, oh, this game sucks. I can't believe like anyone would pay for this game. But then, like, what the fuck are we doing here? Sitting here
Yeah.
in
No,
this
I'm not. I'm not. I'm
fucking
not
chat.
saying that at all. I'm just saying that increasing the amount of patches, while hurting persistence, stops players from coming back every day. And when the players that come back every day, those are the ones who buy things. Those are the ones who want to engage more. And so when it's harder for them to be able to build a life in the game, when it's just okay, well, we're just going to churn around and just kind of stand around and maybe run the new thing instead of actually have this experience that we were promised, it does tend to make people not want to buy the new ships. It hurts the funding of the project.
That's kind of like
That's
prioritizing
showing
the
that's
event.
not true. Their
That's
numbers
Yeah.
show that
demonstrably
people are
not
playing
true.
more
Yeah.
Echo,
often.
Hold on, Echo. Go ahead.
Yeah, their numbers are showing that people are playing more often and playing longer. So the stuff disappearing, it to them might look like it's not a problem because people are playing more. I'm sure it's something they want to fix because they know they have database issues, but the numbers are showing people are playing more and they're playing longer. So the stuff disappearing isn't affecting people's playing.
Well, I'll also
Yeah.
say they're maybe also playing those
I can
events.
see that.
They had that economy survey or whatever, and they were like, "What kind of game types do you like?" And everyone's like, "Oh, I like the events." So they're doing more events. That's a response to that survey that we took like 9 months ago or whatever, right? So they
Yeah,
focused
I
on
mean,
that instead of the repetitive kind of content.
yeah, I'm enjoying the content. I know a lot of people complain that it's it's an amusement park ride and stuff like that, but so far I've been enjoying it.
I have
Yeah, it's
to.
about finding the balance. Sorry.
No,
Broccoli, go ahead.
I was going to say it's about finding the balance because for so long it was us like trying to, go into the game and make our own content, which is still a viable thing to do. But I think they're trying to help people along that want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's a lot to hold your hand with right now as well. Like, dude, it's
Yeah.
how many times do you forget your keybinds and this and that, and how many times do they change? So to have like stuff that they know kind of works, like at a base level, like FPS stuff, the FPS just kind of works, so they can like keep pushing that.
Yeah. And then to touch on CitizenCon earlier, I know like 2 days versus 2 hours. Like I would have loved to see more, but I think what we wanted to see and what they're currently capable of working on and releasing are two different things. So we could have been really excited about 2 days and then pissed off we didn't see a lot of it, or we'd be upset about 2 hours and then kind of excited when we see a lot of that.
Also, that would have been like 3 days of drinking.
That's too much.
for you.
I mean, I guess
That was
that's what I did, but it was too much.
3 days of partying. Those two. It was
I
Sunday. I was messed up.
barely had time to even really watch the show, so most of my enjoyment from CitizenCon was spending time with y'all.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I missed
Yeah.
a good half of it. I was just hanging out, having a good time with people.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were doing that, and they were like chatting and stuff. After like the first hour, I noticed the second half, a lot of people were more chatty.
Especially
Well, I
that
think
last
especially
segment with that I can't remember his name. He was just talking about like, oh, how has 1.0 changed? It's like, well, it hasn't. It's like, okay, all right,
yeah.
we're done. And then they just kept talking. He just kept talking. It's like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
That portion, I think a lot of people were they tuned out. Like they had already started losing folks by that point, and then it was just talking and talking. That was boring.
Well, they'll know. They'll know what is the most rewatched part of this, which I imagine will be. Oh, here's a new thing. Well, you tell me if it's new. The planet guy, the land guy. Isn't he the water guy?
He's the grass guy now.
He's the grass guy now. Yeah. So when he was showing like at a distance, how you're gonna
From
be
a
able to see how it's gonna be more alike at a distance, so you're not gonna get that like popping. That was new,
That looked
and that's
beautiful.
welcome. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
please,
great.
right? And
if it
then
works.
the cliff sides, yeah, if it works. And then the cliff sides, I mean, you're getting those. And that's like what like Daymar's missing, you know? There's like
Planet Tech is
features.
that was the best part, honestly. Is the Planet Tech. That was the
I
most
thought so.
new in a way. Was actually seeing that because we've heard for years about this fancy ass Planet Tech and seen very, very little of it. But now seeing it in action, I'm like, why can't we get that now? Give it to me now.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
showed some of it
like-
last year, but it was a lot more detailed this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have it not on
real.
be Nix One. I have opinions on it being on Nix One,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty upset about it. But
Oh,
that's for
you
another
and
time.
half of the spectrum.
What's the
Loreheads.
issue with Nix
What do we
One?
li-
Just
yeah, what do
because
we
it's
like
too
about
close,
Nix?
or-
It was supposed to be a dead system, not have any life teaming in it. It was discovered during Project Farstar, which was like a big thing to push people to go colonize. Castor was found 40 years before that, and they spent a ton of money on terraforming it. But then there's like a paradise world right next to Castro that they find, and everyone's like, no, we can't settle this. It's, it's Nix. Like, we can't do anything here. Doesn't
Well,
make any sense.
Unlearn that.
I could see that. It's just if they introduce another like it has to. Is the success of Stanton is how lived and like it feels like a whole different vibe. And I just think if they introduced another like if Nix was dead and it was just a couple little things and it felt kind of that dingy vibe of well, the whole system is dead, kind of like Pyro. I don't know. I don't know if they would have if it would have been something worth doing at the moment. They would have maybe gone with Castor, and I don't think they've got any of that ready at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the same problem Pyro had. Pyro was supposed to be dead pretty much, with very little going on except some pirates, and then they've kind of revitalized it into this just lawless free for all.
Yeah.
The thing is, Pyro can still make sense like that.
Yeah.
But there being a paradise world that wasn't settled for 500 years doesn't make sense in Nix. Like,
Yeah.
they're gonna have to like really, really do
The
some.
Vandal are
Like,
going to be a real problem. That's the only way they can make any sense of this. Is the Vandal have to be a massive threat?
Well, Echo
but
said
I
something
mean,
pretty interesting the other
Caliban,
day.
Oberon, like Vega too. Like the Vandal have always been a threat, and people have still settled there. And
Yeah, but
we found Nix 100 years before we met the Vandal.
Although I do see on the intro screens, there's a blurb, an article about re-terraforming systems. So maybe that's the in right there, is that they just re-terraformed it. Maybe that draws Vandal attention. I don't know.
I guess, but there's trees there that would have had to have been growing for like 10 or 15 years already.
Yeah, they got a
They sped it
Genesis
up.
device.
Yeah.
Literally.
They got that, and then we're gonna find a Spock. It's gonna be cool. You got to go collect him.
I don't know. I'm not
It's
entirely convinced that this is going to be
though.
anything good.
Well,
Yeah,
Echo said
something
it
I
could just
mentioned.
be. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, what I mentioned last week is that like something failed with the terraforming and everything's like bio incompatible. So you can't eat any of the stuff that grows there, something like that. Where you just yes, it's lush, it's beautiful. There's plants, there's animals, but you can't eat any of it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like in The Expanse.
My gripe with that is that they try to convey a certain vibe. Like CIG tries to convey a certain vibe, and it's like very peaceful there. And they're showing it as very peaceful kind of across the board. So it wouldn't make sense for it to not be like a peaceful paradise world.
Well, it could be very nice and peaceful and beautiful. You just have to bring all your food in with you.
Hack it out.
And all your water and everything else.
Maybe you can't breathe the air.
Yeah, or that too.
Quasi grazers are there, so we should be able. I'm gonna have a problem with it no matter what.
I think it's a Genesis planet, and that's probably the only thing I could think that they could do. because otherwise, doesn't. I mean, they can 3D print people like by the minute. So I don't know.
That's true. We are underestimating the powers that exist in this universe. You know, I was actually playing Stellaris, and I named a planet Nyx. It was in the Nyx Ras system, and I was like, perfect. And it was like this old relic, dead world. But then I terraformed it, and I turned it into this giant like city world, like Coruscant. And now it's one of my biggest worlds. So I'm just saying it could happen.
You got too much free time on your hand.
You should turn it back and just smash moons into it, like in the new Jedi Order series.
Oh, I might get. I think I could get pretty violent this game, but we'll see. I've never. You know, it's one of those games like I've never won. And I've been playing this game for weeks
No
now.
one ever wins Stellaris. You just
Yeah.
keep playing it until you wipe out all the Xenos.
Oh my god, we play
Or get wiped out yourself because you're a Xeno.
I just try to do science, you know.
Yeah, I do that too. That's usually how my runs go. Is I speed run the tech tree, and then a Forgotten Empire wakes up and stomps me.
You just don't invent the internet; it'll destroy your civilization.
Yeah.
So we have the Vandal coming in, and I did some research into like the Vandals. The Vandal are named after the Vandals.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, all
Yeah,
right,
you
let's
got
do
that?
some history.
It's all ancient Rome, guys.
Good job, buddy.
You know why the Vandals went to Rome?
Because they wanted to be Romans?
No. They were chased out of their lands in Poland and Eastern Germany by the Huns.
By the replicators. I mean the Russians.
Right? Is it going to be the AI, like the
Yeah,
AIs?
it's going to be the AI. It's always going to be an AI enemy.
It's
gonna
the
be
AI that
replicators.
humanity sent out, and they're like, oh shit, you know, those colony ships never came back to us. It's going to be the Borg. It's going to be the AI Borgified those people, and now they're coming back.
It's going to be the revenge
episode 3
of Clippy. Clippy was sent out to space, encountered another space probe, an alien space probe, and then a whole race of things.
Clipper.
Clippy was like, I see you're trying to destroy this civilization. Would you like some help with
legally
that?
distinct Clippy?
Clippy is aware of the hatred that humanity has for it and returns it like a mirror.
Could see it. Could work.
All right.
Totally.
Brilliant. Duke, you're not supposed to allow the silences. It's a radio show.
Yeah.
Well, I was waiting on you. I thought you were going to add something really profound.
No,
to the
I
end
told
of
you
the
I lost my
conversation.
voice.
Profound?
I was going to say, what about engineering?
What about it? What about it? I mean, we don't need it. All right, so here's my thing. We don't need engineering. Right? We don't need it for base building. We don't need it for crafting.
True.
They could throw all those things in without it. Because we've got ships right now with no engineering.
No, you
right?
need engineering for both of those things.
No,
You
you
need
don't.
engineering for crafting, you need crafting for base building.
Why? What do you need it for?
So you could have your entire fish collection mounted on the walls.
So what
do you need engineering for base building or crafting?
So the way that you run your ship needs power, needs this, that, and the other thing. It's just a ship on the ground.
Right.
And like your base could be powered by like nothing, but then like they've made it clear that they want it to be powered by something. And so you need engineering to power it.
They've made it clear, but they also have already skirted around it. I mean, the crafting cube, whatever that they showed, right? It doesn't have to get plugged into anything. They're like, you can stick it on any ship. You can carry it in any cargo. You can put it on your elevator and use it. So all you need is a box of resource A and resource B, stick it in there, and boom, crafting. We have the same crafting right now.
I think that'll be tech preview. I think once it hits live.
Still,
maybe I could be wrong.
But my point is that we don't need it. We should have it. It should be part of it, and I'm sure it's part of the overall design. But they could give us some of this stuff earlier.
In the form that they have it right now, yeah, I can see we don't need it for that. In the idealized version, where your engineer is not only the person who puts out the fire on your ship, but also is a specialist at um, optimizing things. That's where that would come in. And then, if you specialize in, like, I'm just going to make things, like, your engineer should be your crafter. It should really be almost the same profession. And they optimize your engines. That's what they're good at because they've done it 1,000 times. They know the tricks because they've ground, all that experience of it. Just gets better results with better materials. They should be able to do that in all aspects. So making your base, they've got better power systems for you that less fuel to maintain, things like that. It's just, yeah, as you're saying, right now, the way they're presenting it, it's just literally in, out. It's a simple
Yeah.
equation rather than a profession.
Right. I don't
I
think it's
also
just
think
next year. When they're done with Squadron, it's all going to come together.
I think they're going to need a lot more like server meshing than what we have now. Because I mean,
Yeah.
we're jumping into new servers every time, and I think that's part of why base building isn't in, and why I don't think it'll be in for a while.
Yeah.
Wait, why?
Because
don't
we're in a
follow.
you jump into a new server every time, and who's to say that
Oh, I see. You mean
you
the
and
shard
40 other
because you jump
people?
into
Oh yeah,
a new shard. I see what you mean. I thought you
well,
meant like traveling between servers in your shard. Yeah, because because that was the big question people tried to ask at CitizenCon in Manchester, right? Was like, well, what happens? I build a base on this little spot, um, on Aberdeen, and then I go to a different shard. Is my base still there? How is that space protected from somebody else building on other shards?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think they'll solve that through selling land claims for real money.
Yeah, you can only buy
Man.
in your land claim. There's only one land claim. So if there's a shard or whatever without that
Yep.
person there, it'll just be empty.
I mean, obviously, it'd be instance on the inside, but I do think that's it. Could only look. I mean, they
This is
should
how
make
CIG makes $2 billion.
well, maybe, but I mean, continental shards is probably better for that. You know, I
What do you
just
mean?
well, North America as a shard,
Oh,
you
I
know,
see. Okay.
EU is a shard. It's easier to maintain it that way. You get less complication, and plus you have real time people going to the same place.
But
You
do you
know,
still let people? Because I mean, like the org that I'm in has people from North America and from Europe. I think we might have an Aussie or two. So are they no longer able to play with the org, to build
oh,
with
they
the
they
org?
could they could join the shard that org is on. I mean, it's similar to other
Okay.
MMOs. But the
So
thing
you're not
is
talking
that
about locking them.
no, no, no. I'm just talking about getting the amount of interaction. So if you have like let's say you're coming under attack on one of your shards, right? Like let's say okay, your base exists in all parallel realities. Let's call all these shards a different universe, right? Parallel realities going on at the same time. You get attacked in one of them, right? And then you get attacked in another one. Like how do you respond to that? And
Hmm.
you can't really have those interactions because they're existing in multiple dimensions at once while you're seeing both of them at the same time. It just gets weird.
So you're saying base building is at least 5 years out.
I'm saying the infrastructure needs to make it more of a large living universe rather than splitting it up so small
Hmm.
so everybody can, I mean, it's just part of the fact that everything is physicalized. There is a person in that ship. They're standing right there. I know that if I could bust open that door, I can get to them. You can't do that with the same concept of it being a space station that exists in all realities at once.
Yeah.
Right. Unless everyone's on the same exact server somehow.
Which I don't.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
big replication layer, one big shard.
and I don't think we'll ever get there.
Well, the dynamic server meshing is supposed to help with that. It should reduce the number of shards and increase the player count.
True, but just
Yeah.
think of the number of players. I mean, when you look at a game like EVE Online, right? Where everyone's there, they're in the same universe, but it's a much, I don't mean a simpler game in terms of the complexity of the game itself, but it's a simpler game on the servers. Anytime you've got an FPS, obviously the handling that character and the bullets and all their various interactions is more complicated than, like a ship like an Eve that just kind of flies around, but it's not actually like, um, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, the way the ship is going doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just something that's on your screen, whereas all your interactions are separate from it. It's more of like an avatar. Whereas in something like Star Citizen, where it's a sim, where you have to have, you got 12 guys in a Valkyrie. The server has to keep track of those 12 guys in a Valkyrie and keep them flying through a firefight and getting up and changing seats and getting into turrets and firing off those bullets and those bullets hitting the other ship, which also has guys in it. Um, as much as, I mean, the dream, right, would be like everyone playing Star Citizen, at least, everyone in North America playing Star Citizen is on a single massive shard. Um, I mean, damn, we can't even get out of our hangar when there's 600 people. You get a.
Well, they're pushing it.
They're getting
We
better.
had 630 people or something the other night.
Yeah, but we're talking thousands.
I
and
want it.
thousands.
I hope we'll get it, but I don't see us sitting there with 200,000 players in
That
one
shades
North
are gonna
American sky.
suck.
It would
Like,
be amazing. It would be like
it would be so cool, but you'd be sitting in traffic for like an hour.
let's say CIG, like, they get, I won't say anyone there is a genius. Maybe they're a genius, but they get lucky as human beings get lucky. Someone makes an intuitive leap and they crack the code, and all of a sudden, like, they're able to have upwards of 300,000 people on a single shard playing this game. That would be fucking epic.
But
That would
that's
change the industry.
that
But
is the game that I want to play, and that's the game I was promised.
at least in part, I would love to see, we could get there, right? I hope that we can get there with the AI. Back when we used to hear from a certain man about a certain thing called quantum, there was this promise that there would be all these AI going around the verse, doing jobs, flying ships, getting into fights, and it was going to be balanced by the fact that the server didn't have to, you don't have to render all that stuff all the time, right? It's happening on the back end in a replication layer or whatever, and it only has to actually be quote unquote real when a player pops into the object container. Now it has to be real, and that's something I'm definitely still waiting for. I mean, like, our org, Red Scar doesn't like to really engage in straight up piracy.
Ooh,
But if
pirate
it was,
bad.
but if there was NPC orgs, and we could be like, oh,
Yeah, no.
that's it's a Nine Tails convoy, right? We're gonna go f up that Nine Tails convoy anytime we see it. That could be good because then you're not worried about hurting somebody else. You're not ruining somebody's game day, but you're still getting to engage in that gameplay. And I think that's something that having what was sort of promised with the NPCs in the universe would be a big help.
That's true.
Yeah.
That would add a lot of depth.
Yeah, I could see
you
that.
know.
But I mean, at the same time, I legitimately want to see piracy as a game loop that players engage in. I want to see the risk.
Oh,
And
yeah.
leaving it up to NPCs and having all that. Having a shard big enough where, man, you've got traffic everywhere, and that makes you a vulnerable shipper. I mean,
Mhm.
that's like real life. There is that immersion right there. Whether or not someone's going to be a dick about just wanting to grief rather than actually pirate, that's a whole different thing. And
Well,
maybe they
think
can
like
solve that.
if we had like 200,000 players or something, right? Guaranteed people would start organizing convoys,
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
they'd have to.
right?
security
It would
forces.
happen. Yep. It'd be
Yeah.
like, hey, convoy heading out from Everest Harbor. We're leaving at 1800 UTC. This guy, and this guy will be point, and then we've got these ships in the back, and then you got people signing off for security, and then it becomes. I mean, I'm gonna get crazy because it comes to the whole thing about like, how do you tell a convoy is legit or not? How do you tell that people that signed up to escort are legit? But there's safety in numbers. I mean,
That's why you need that social stuff.
yeah. Oh, social
Yeah.
stuff. Now you're getting it.